Every muscle ache, every trembling limb, every ounce of sweat, it's all part of a masterpiece you're creating. But who's seeing it? Who sees the internal war you wage? They see the result, but not the battlefield. They see the physique, but not the sacrifices. You walk into the gym with nothing left but breath. Every strained breath, every trembling rep, every drop of sweat, it's carving a new version of you. Proof that you didn't just show up, you gave everything. Here, metal groans, mirrors reflect grit, and shadows hold secrets. Some days all you got is that iron will. The weights don't care if you're tired, stressed, or hurting. They just sit there waiting. It's a test. Will you show up for yourself? Will you keep going when no one's watching? This isn't about vanity, it's about raw will. These four walls see your struggles, hear your breaths. No applause, no cheers, but that's where the real work happens. You're forging a new path, brick by brick, rep by rep. It's a rebellion against giving up. The weights are heavy, the hours are long, and the road is lonely. But the view from the top is worth every drop of sweat, every scar. You don't need a medal. You're making yourself proud. You broke past your limits. You pushed past your mood. And that version of you? That's the one who keeps rising long after others rest. Because this isn't just fitness, it's identity. The weights don't ask for motivation. They demand consistency. And you answer, one rep at a time. Now the building begins. Not with celebration, but with silence. You feel the shift, not just in your body, but in your mindset. Every drop of effort adds a brick, not for a wall, but for a foundation. You're not chasing aesthetics, you're constructing durability. Mental, physical, emotional, it all gets built here. Not in comfort, not in calm, but in chaos. The soreness no longer feels like pain, it feels like progress. What once broke you now becomes warm-up. The bar that crushed your shoulders is now routine. And the voice that doubted you, silent. Because the only voice that matters now is the one pushing you further. No praise, no validation, just repetition with purpose. You're not trying to prove anything anymore, you're becoming something new. One that doesn't quit when it hurts. One that doesn't slow down when it's heavy. One that gets back up before the excuses catch up. You weren't made to be average. You were made to break ... and rebuild stronger. Pain isn't the enemy, it's the signal. The indicator that you're no longer in the comfort zone. It tells you this rep matters, this set is changing something. This isn't about looking strong, it's about becoming unbreakable. You can feel your body shaking, but your mind is louder now. Not with doubt, with direction. You're not chasing size, you're chasing control. Over your body, over your thoughts, over your choices. No one sees the way you struggle under that weight. They don't notice the extra breath you take before the final push. But that's where the magic lives, in the unnoticed, in the lonely grind. You don't need eyes watching, you need standards rising. Every lift is a lesson in self-respect. Every failure is a reminder that growth requires friction. You don't train to impress, you train to evolve. Not energy, not confidence, just breath, and barely that. The world outside feels like it's collapsing. But inside these four walls, pain has a purpose. No one knows the storm behind your silence. No one sees the weight behind your stare. But that's the truth. The iron doesn't care about your story. You feel shattered, but shattered doesn't mean finished. This is where real begins, where most walk away. Strength isn't built when it's easy, it's built in the middle of war. When your mind screams enough and your will says again. The strongest version of you hides behind fatigue, doubt, and discomfort. And every rep strips weakness away, not instantly, not magically, but quietly, in moments that no one claps for. While others sleep, you show up. While they scroll, you strain. Because deep inside, you know, this is where your future forms. Not in the spotlight, not in the finish line, but here, in the repetition. The gym doesn't hand out shortcuts, it holds up mirrors. And when you face that truth with sweat, you transform. Not because someone said good job, but because the grind made you uncheckable. You stop chasing approval and start chasing discipline. You lift to take control back. You train to bury the old version. And the pain, that's the price for power. It doesn't feel bad for you. It doesn't wait for motivation, it just sits there. And when you step beneath it, you either fold or you fight. You choose to fight, not for glory, not for likes, but because stillness hurts more than struggle. The first rep nearly breaks you, The second steals your breath, but the third, that one reminds you why you're here. This isn't about lifting weight, it's about lifting everything weighing you down. You feel drained, but drained doesn't mean done. You break, not because you're weak, but because you've gone beyond your limit. And that's exactly where progress lives. The soreness tomorrow won't be punishment, it will be proof. Now the music fades away. The weight room's a different world. There's no music when you hit your last rep, only silence and sweat. But that silence is sacred, because it's the sound of self-respect. No one needed to witness it, but you did. You show up not to fix yourself, but to reveal what's been buried. Strength wasn't something you found, it's something you uncovered. Beneath every skipped excuse, behind every sore morning, inside every unfinished workout that you chose to complete. You don't rise not to conquer, but because rising is who you are. I watch you come to life before the sun does. I see the hunger in your eyes, not for fame, but for form. Not for fortune, but for fortitude. You don't need the cheers of the crowd. You find your applause within. It echoes in the chambers of your heart. That's where your motivation originates, unfiltered, unfaded. It doesn't rise and fall with external tides. It's anchored by an internal light that guides you through the darkness. For you, it's not about what's visible, but what's invisible. The strength of your spirit, the resilience of your soul. And this, my friend, is where the true magic happens. There's no fanfare, no spotlight, just the steady hum of resolve. About evolving into the best version of yourself. This journey is your sanctuary, a place where you rewrite your limits, defy expectations, and sculpt not just your physique, but your character. Your dedication is a testament to the power of consistency. You understand that true growth is a slow burn, a gradual ascent that requires patience, perseverance, and above all, authenticity. You don't chase illusions or quick fixes. Instead, you invest in the process, trusting that over time, consistency will yield not just results, but transformation. This is your haven, your fortress of solitude where you confront your demons and conquer them one rep, one set at a time. Here, amidst the weights and the mirrors, you confront your doubts and break them. With each drop set, you shatter the limitations others set for you. In this sanctuary, you redefine strength. It's not just about lifting heavy. It's about carrying your burdens and transforming them into stepping stones. You embrace the discomfort, the fatigue, the soreness because they are the currency of your progress. This is your battlefield where the war within is fought and won. This is where you find solace, not in distractions, but in the purity of your purpose. Amidst the clang of weights and the rhythm of your breath, you find your zen. This is your therapy, your meditation, and the best part is it's entirely yours. No judgment, no expectations, just pure, unadulterated growth. So keep going. Keep pushing those limits because the view from the top is breathtaking. The satisfaction, the sense of accomplishment, the knowledge that you've once again proven to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought possible. This isn't just a workout, it's a testament to your character. It's a silent scream of your will to rise, to conquer and to evolve. You don't need the world to understand your dedication. You know what you're doing. You feel the transformation not just in your muscles, but in your soul. This is more than a workout. It's a way of life. It's a philosophy. It's your sanctuary. It's your Everest. And with every step you take, you climb higher, not just in physical strength, but in mental fortitude. You're sculpting not just a physique, but a state of mind. You're proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you think. You're breaking barriers, shattering stereotypes, and rewriting your own definition of strength. This isn't just a workout, it's a revolution. A revolution that starts in the mind and manifests in every rep, every set, every drop set. It's your silent rebellion against mediocrity, your anthem of self-belief. And in this symphony of iron and sweat, you're the conductor of your own destiny. You're in control. You're in charge, and that's the most empowering feeling of all. The sun hasn't risen, it's been rising. It's been a while since we spoke, since we talked about what separates the temporary from the timeless. And I wanted to start today with that thought. We live in an age where overnight successes are celebrated, where instant gratifications are the norm. Yet here you are seeking not the quick win, but the enduring victory. You find joy not in the flash, but in the foundation, and that is where your strength truly lies. And now the gym is more than metal and mirrors. It's a mirror of your mind. Each workout is a conversation between who you are and who you refuse to remain. You've stopped negotiating with weakness. You've stopped seeking shortcuts. You've started trusting discomfort, because discomfort builds clarity. Pain builds peace. Fatigue builds identity. You stood where most people quit, but you stayed. You kept lifting when the comfort begged you to stop. That's where character gets shaped, in the reps. No one counts, in the battles no one claps for. That's where you build something real. You no longer lift for goals. You lift because this is who you are. This isn't punishment. This is presence. You're not trying to impress anyone anymore. You've impressed yourself. That's what makes you dangerous now. You've become the person who doesn't need cheering, only challenge. The one who trains when no one's watching. The one who builds when others burn out. You've turned the gym into a ritual. And rituals rewrite reality. There's a fire now. Not loud, not flashy, but constant. And it lights the dark places inside you. The places where fear once whispered. The corners where doubt once lived. Now replaced by repetition. Now replaced by grit. Because you did more than breathe. You did more than break. You built. You built something uncheckable. You built a standard. You built a mindset that doesn't bend. You didn't just lift weight, you lifted yourself. And that's a strength the world can't measure. You didn't just build muscle, you built silence into strength. You turned chaos into control. The gym was never just a place, it became your process. You reshaped yourself, not to escape weakness, but to outgrow it. Each weight taught a lesson that comfort never could. Each rep revealed the version of you hiding beneath hesitation. Every sweat-soaked shirt became a trophy no one else could see, but you felt it. You lived it. You don't need reminders. Your calluses carry memory. They speak louder than compliments. You trained through seasons that tried to break your momentum. But you never stopped, not because you always felt ready, but because stopping would have meant returning to who you used to be, and that's not an option anymore. You gave up the exit, burned the backup plan. This is all in or nothing, not because it's the only path, but because it's the only one that makes you feel alive. Everything else feels numb, safe is suffocating. Comfort is a cage, but here you breathe. You breathe through failure. You breathe through tight lungs, sore limbs, shaking hands. And still, you lift, because lifting is no longer about what's outside. It's about what's burning within. That fire doesn't flicker anymore. It doesn't beg for wind. It fuels itself with effort, with vision, with defiance. You're not just pushing weights, you're pulling yourself forward. Against gravity, against doubt, against every excuse you once believed. You're not lifting to be admired. You're lifting because it reminds you that nothing owns you anymore. Not fear, not fatigue, not failure. You own your effort. And effort, when multiplied through pain, becomes something no one can steal. That's what you've built here, not a body, but a boundary. A line between who quits and who climbs. You crossed it. And now there's no turning back, not because you're stuck, but because you've tasted something better. Discipline. Real. Raw. Relentless. And within that discipline lies a truth so simple, yet so profound it defies complexity. I know because I see it in the quiet hours. This isn't about aesthetics or external achievements. This is about becoming.